Hello and welcome back to the Q&A. So as always, I'm going to go through various questions that have been left. If you have any questions of your own, please leave them down in the comments for this video, and I'll be sure to get to them. Anyway, so the first question is actually a really good one. It's from Montarath Gaming, I think, and he said, or she said, what would you like to see for legendaries in Warlords of Draenor? Most people didn't like the idea of a legendary piece of armor, but I'm curious as to what you think. Alright, well, first of all, I think we should talk about armor versus weapons. Now, a lot of people like to roll the transmog. That's totally fair enough, and I think that legendaries kind of balls that up in terms of armor. Also, individual bits of armor are generally less iconic on their own than, say, a weapon. It's not like you could have a legendary chestplate and, have that work with other things for various classes. Yeah, okay, if they were to do one bit of armor, then sure, the cloak was the one to do, and I think the legendary cloaks look quite nice, but yeah, people are going to be far more excited by weapons. Now that we've got the weapon versus armor thing out of the way, let's talk about how you actually get the damn things. I think that the Mists of Pandaria system was really bad, actually. It was just flat out bad. We had to rely on RNG for just about everything, and the bits that we did not have to rely on RNG on were extremely dull. They were, grinding 6,000 Valor points, 3,000 now, grinding rep, and then doing the battlegrounds, which, let's be honest, nearly felt like RNG when we were doing them. So that was all extremely frustrating, and the way drop rates were done was highly annoying. Another problem is that even if those drop rates were kind of guaranteed from every boss or something like that, it would still be a kind of dull and deterministic way of doing it. That said, there's always been a little bit of kind of a deterministic nature to getting these drops in that, or not these drops, like into getting legendaries, because it's usually get 40 of item X. I think it's just that in Pandaria it was spread over such a long time with so many different steps. I don't think it was as bad for something like Valinir in Ulduar. So I think overall, it should be a legendary weapon, but it definitely shouldn't be using the Mists of Pandaria style legendary quest thingy. Now, I know that they're going to be doing an equivalent of a legendary quest in Warlords, at least I'm 90% sure they've said that, and yeah, okay, that's fair enough, whatever, but I just hope they've learnt the mistakes of the legendary cloak. In some ways, I've seen responses from Blizzard saying that overall they would call the experiment of the legendary cloaks a success. I am worried that they think that was a success. Like, they said that they understood the problems, but overall they're happy enough. I just don't buy that. I think that if they do some other sort of, similar style system in Warlords, it really is just going to rub people the wrong way. Legendaries should be weapons, because weapons look awesome, they feel awesome, they impact your numbers quite a bit, and overall that's just a really nice way of doing it. As for actual acquisition, we've already said that it shouldn't be the Pandaria model, so what should it be? Well, sure, it can be tied in with some sort of quest. I don't think a quest should span more than just, say, the duration of one patch, but I'm okay with, say, Shadowmourne style stuff. Overall, though, I just would like it if the legendaries were obtained by raiding only. Now, for PvP, legendaries are just not really possible, because the whole idea of a legendary is that it is overpowered, just that it's so rare that, like, if you got it, then fair play to you, you probably deserve it. So, in PvP, I don't really think you should be trying to get legendaries, it's just not good for balance. Though in PvE, it's a completely different story. You really would like a legendary because, well, for boss kills, it's pretty obvious that it's a big benefit. Now, that means that the whole guild can work together to gear someone up in a legendary and various things like that. I think there's cool gameplay there, and it's a far more special reward than everyone being handed out their participation badge, which is unfortunately what happened in in Mists of Pandaria. So yes, I think there should be legendaries. I also think there should be maybe, let's just say 2 legendaries. I'd say we probably will start off with the very first raid tier not having a legendary, and then I think the next 2 should have a legendary. It should be a more traditional style of legendary, and in general, I'm okay with both the Shadowmourne style ones of, get 40 thingy-majig shards and then, stick them together, you get Shadowmourne. I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with, say, the Thunder Fury style, or the Thora something. the bow, you know, the one from the Sunwell. I'm okay with some extremely low drop rate ones, and I'm okay with some really low, like, well, I guess ones that have got multiple parts with low drop rates, so like Sulphurous and the Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. So yeah, I think a mix of them would be great. The more definite ones, like say Shadowmourne and Valenier, are totally cool to have in raid tiers, but I'd be okay if there was just the odd boss which had like a, you know, a 0.5 or 1% drop legendary that just looked awesome. I think that they should definitely have legendaries in the game, but they need to be ultra rare. They can't be handing them out all over the place, because it just devalues the idea of a legendary. I mean, hell, I'd advocate for LFR, LFR having no, like, epics. And I don't mean in terms of item level, exact same power as today, just I wouldn't have the text be purple. I think that there should just be this certain level of rarity for items, and they just kind of failed with that on legendaries in Pandaria. I think in Cataclysm they failed with that, and epics, and just overall, I think we should be getting less epics and even less legendaries. But that's probably a discussion for another day. Alright, let's move on to another question. This one's from Capture Gaming, who said, do you feel that Warlords of Draenor should be more complete than it is now? Do you think that most of the character models should be complete? And is the rate of Warlords of Draenor going to complete like slower or faster than I would have imagined? Alright, so first of all, I think that Warlords of Draenor is probably in a very good state. We just don't know at the minute. They are alpha testing one zone at a time in a relatively intense manner. That means that they probably have builds of nearly every single zone completely finished. They're just kind of going through one by one in the alpha and throwing us at them. I'd imagine the final raid tier is nearly done, bar balancing and tuning. Or not the final raid tier, the first raid tier. So yeah, I think the majority of the content is there. They're just doing all the testing and stuff now. Maybe they've got some extra little things to implement, like say the garrison outposts, because they seem like a little bit of a last minute addition. So yeah, I think most of the content's probably done. Right now they just need to make the cinematics, make the various things like that, plug them in, fix up garrisons, fix the outposts, and that should be the expansion there, once they do all the extensive balance testing and things that they need to do. As for the character models, I think that more of them are complete than we currently think, honestly. You know, it's not like every single art craft is, oh look, we made a new thing, now we're going to show it to you. That stuff's all timed. I'd say they have, or at least an early prototype of every single new model that's going into the game. In fact, I'd say they probably have near finished prototypes of every single model at least. The human male will be coming soon in a Artcraft post. I'd imagine it's basically done, and I think it's going to be like that for various different races. So yeah, character models, I'd say probably nearing completion soon enough. I'd be surprised if they weren't, honestly, I really would be. Maybe the Worgen and Goblins will be a little bit delayed. Actually, no, I think they're being delayed anyway. No, actually, you know what? Yeah, I think most of them are done at the minute, and it's going to take a while for them to polish them up, get all the animations going, and, you know, get Artcraft posts and all that stuff done. So, yeah. Right, the next and final part of the question is, what do I think of the rate of Warlords of Draenor in terms of development? Right, so the rate of the expansion is very bizarre. Initially at BlizzCon they said, yeah, hey, Warlords is going to come out sooner than you think. That's literally what they said. And it did not come out sooner than we thought, it came out much later than we thought. They've had numerous little setbacks and production issues, such as, say, garrisons, you know, going and changing a lot. So that's happened. And there's just various little things like that that have set the expansion back. So the rate of Warlords of Draenor development has been much slower than I thought. In fact, I thought we would either be playing the game right now, or we would be in patch 6.0. That is obviously not the case. We're only just in the alpha, though I'd imagine that the alpha speed is going to ramp up pretty fast, because I think like they'll start balance testing very soon, in that they're actually adding a level 100 server for testing stuff like that soon, so there'll be that, then there'll be the different zones we need to do in the other server for testing, but I can't see it being a 6-month-long test period, because that would put the launch of the game into, like, December or something stupid like that. That would be an absolute just catastrophe, and I don't think it'll happen. Warlords will probably come out in September or October, and I personally believe that's far too late, and it's an absolute damn shame that Blizzard have let this happen, Because Siege of Orgrimmar was a pretty good raid, I'd argue it was not as good as Icecrown Citadel yet. Like, there's no raid that can last for that long, and there hasn't even been a pre-patch. Right now, I think it's really just too late to do a pre-patch, or not pre-patch, a, like, little mid-filler patch. Ah, unfortunate. So yes, the answer to your question is, I think it's probably more complete than we think, and I'm a little bit disappointed in the rate of development because of what I perceive to be multiple different production just slips and errors on Blizzard's part. Okay, next we have a question from Matthias Jensen, who said, do you think we're getting a Burning Legion expansion after Warlords of Draenor? As we've seen, Gul'dan is being green, and there are a lot of fell orcs and mobs running around Draenor. And do you think that if we get a Burning Legion expansion that we'll free Illidan, as he will be the best demon hunter? Metzen has already confirmed that they want to bring Illidan back if they can, and there is a high demand for it. Or at least, or no, because there is a high demand for it. Right, so everything is pointing towards the Burning Legion being a future expansion. Rathian has even said, oh, the Legion are coming, by the way. In this expansion, there are various Legion things going on. However, we just don't know if they are connected. What we do know is that there is something lurking behind all of this, pulling strings. So I suppose if we try to correlate everything, Rathian has said that he thinks the Legion are coming, and he saw a bunch of things from that, like, crazy-ass thing where we kind of got Rathian high, and then he, the thing. Yeah, most of you have probably done the Legendary quest, where Rathian starts to, like, see stuff, and then he gets all worried about the Legion coming. So he knows the Legion are coming, and then we go back to this expansion, and there's a whole bunch of Burning Legion stuff going on in Draenor, but could that just be, like, the past Burning Legion? Or is it in some way connected to our Burning Legion? I don't know. Blizzard can pull whatever kind of lore hijinks they want, basically, because they're just saying, oh, this is an alternate timeline, it's not going back into the past or anything like that. They're kind of absolving themselves from any time travel related issues, so I don't know what's going on. They could bring the Burning Legion back, and they've been pointing towards the Burning Legion being an expansion for long enough to make me say that the next expansion is likely the Legion. Yeah, I'd say so. And as for bringing Illidan back, well, we kinda killed him, but I suppose since he was half demon, he'll slink his way back to the Twisting Nether, and we'll probably end up retrieving him or something like that. You know what? I think that's fair enough. Illidan's a character who really, in my opinion, is not ultra, evil. He did a decent amount of good stuff. He was definitely one of those people where you have to ask the question, do the ends really, or do the means sort of, are the means worth the ends? Oh, what's that phrase? The one. He did some kind of dark stuff, but he kind of saved a lot of, good things because of the dark stuff that he did. Which, of course, led to him being corrupted and imprisoned, blah, 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 and all that bad stuff. So, yeah, Illidan's an interesting character, and I would definitely like to see him come back. He was very much underutilized in the Burning Crusade from a lore perspective, so it would be great having a second shot at that character. In fact, I think that Metzen understands that they really squandered Illidan in the Burning Crusade, and because of that, they just want to bring him back again, and I would be totally cool with that. Also, if they were going to add Demon Hunters into the game, then that would be the prime way to do it. And by the way, because for some reason people, I think the Demon Hunters and Warlocks are the same, they're totally different in terms of how they play. Demon Hunters are a melee class, essentially. Maybe they have, some magic abilities or range things, but they're primarily, getting up close with Warglaives doing things. They're kind of like a mix of a rogue that uses kind of fell energy and stuff like that. But of course, they're also very much involved with hunting demons instead of enslaving them, so I think they could make a demon hunter that feels very different to any other class. It's just a question of will they, and when will they? And I think, yeah, they probably will at some point, and if they do, Illidan would be the perfect way to get them into the game. So yes, next expansion could certainly be Burning Legion, Illidan, and Demon Hunters. In fact, before Warlords of Draenor was announced, I thought that's what this expansion would be. But I don't really think you could have saw Warlords coming, because, hey, we're going back in time, just that it's not back in time, it's an alternate timeline, and that was completely out of the blue. No one really saw that thing coming. Yet, it seems like it's turning out pretty well for them anyway. So that's basically it for the Q&A. I'll keep on chopping away at these questions from time to time. Now, this video is coming out on Monday, it's currently Sunday, but the alpha servers will be coming back up tonight, as of the time of you watching this. So I'll probably start more alpha videos tomorrow. Until then, if you want any Warlords or Draenor alpha stuff, especially Shadow Moon Valley, then you'll just have to check out my Alliance Garrison preview and my video of the just the introduction quests to the zone. Anyway, that's basically it. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to leave your questions in the comments, and I'll see you next time.